right, flying right along here, moving into 7-4, because more area and perimeter. All right, perimeter. Hopefully you are sick of hearing what perimeter is, and hopefully you have it memorized by now. Perimeter is that sum or adding all the outsides. So you got that. Area, though. Area is going to be different depending on what kind of shape you're dealing with. That first area formula that you might be thinking of, that base times height or that length times width, is for those parallelograms. Reminding yourself that a parallelogram does include things like squares, rectangles, and rhombuses or rhombi. Those are all considered parallelograms. Not to confuse that with our other important area formula, which is that 1/2 base times height, which is my triangle formula. Make sure you're looking up and using the correct formula, because now we give you yet another formula. And we will talk about that right now. So looking at this shape here in example number 1, we're just want to identify the shape first. It's technically not a parallelogram because it has only one set of parallel sides. Now, let's back up a sec. Parallel meaning what? Parallel meaning that those two pieces, those two lines, if I extended them forever, they would never end up crossing each other or intersecting each other. But that's not true about my other sides here. If I continued this side on, in a straight line as best as I can, and then took the other one and continued that side on, still a terrible thing. There we go. Notice how those two pieces are going to cross there, and that's going to make them not parallel. So because this only has one set of parallel sides, this shape is considered a trapezoid. Trapezoid. And a trapezoid is unique because it has one set of parallel sides. Where we're used to the parallelograms or the rectangles, where they have two sets of parallel sides. So now every single area formula is some sort of version of a base times a height. But the problem here, if we look at rectangles or even a parallelogram, we know that both of those have two bases, right? We have a base on top and a base on the bottom. But what's different about a trapezoid compared to the bases of a parallelogram is that your trapezoid bases are two different lengths. So I wouldn't know which one to use. Do I use the 60 or do I use the 36? Whereas with our parallelogram here, using this base would be the same as using this base because those are the same. We know that those opposite sides are congruent there. So because of that, when we're finding the area of a trapezoid, we need to average the base together. Average meaning that you are adding them together and dividing by the number of them. I have two bases, so I'm going to be dividing by 2. So your area of a trapezoid formula is 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2 times your height. And that is the formula we're going to be using to find the area of a triangle. Base 1, base 2, and my height, just so we know what all those pieces mean. All right, we will actually look at the first example next.